I really enjoyed this card, Primal Might. I thought it was good in practice, but my teammates didn't really like it, so I kind of deferred to their best judgment. But I want to try one Primal Might and one Vivian. These are at absolute worst, these are fun cards, and it's good to like kind of get a variety and change things up in your practice. And you know, at best, maybe they're actually just great cards that are good to put in your deck. I could probably cut one Purphoros' Intervention from the sideboard if I'm doing the Primal Might thing. So I could either put the Vivian in the sideboard, or I could play a red cap melee, second red cap melee. That's useful against mono red and Izzet Dragons. All right, I only own 3 Esika's Chariots on my account, so maybe that's a good tiebreaker. I'll just play the Vivian in place of the 4th Chariot, add a red cap melee to the sideboard. I have to make one more cut if I want to play Primal Might. Okay, Vivian sideboard, Primal Might main deck. We don't need the second red cap melee. So this is what I'm going to play. If you're watching live, you can find it on the Cardboard Live extension. I'm going to start with 5 matches on the ladder with this Gruul Magda deck. I did write an updated deck guide for Channel Fireball recently if you want to pair some written content with this video content. And yeah, if you do want to sign up for CFB Pro or do any other business with Channel Fireball, please remember my affiliate code. It's REID, R-E-I-D. One cool thing we have going on is called Ultimate Crates. These are like purchase options for you, more options than ever. Some of the sets we have in stock currently available are Strixhaven set and collector booster box crates, Kaldheim set booster box crates, Strixhaven commander crates, Kaldheim commander crates. So I encourage you, if that sounds interesting, to just browse the Channel Fireball website. Also, a special shout out to Ultimate Guard, who's continuing to come out with awesome new products. Ultimate Guard products, in my experience, are like just the pinnacle of anything you might want to use for storing or transporting your cards. Hopefully that's something that's going to become more important, you know, something that we do if paper tournaments are on the rise coming up. So again, if that fits with your needs or wants, I encourage you to browse the Ultimate Guard online catalog. I have links to that in both the chat and panels below my stream. All right, thanks. Let's get to some matches. We want Gruul Magda, although Gruul Fury is still a cool deck. Alhammer, 15 months. Thank you very much for the sub and the good luck wishes. Yikes. Well, I guess I'll keep and just hope that this is a matchup where Stomp is effective, right? I have 2 red lands. Bone Crusher Giant. What do I put on the bottom? Probably just Lovestruck Beast, right? A lot of subs today. Kixen, thank you for subscribing, and thanks for joining us. All right, Forest right away. Rogrin Triome. Cycling, perhaps? I'm seeing some good questions in the chat about organized play announcement and some of my matches from the league play weekend. I'll try to address those in between matches. This is probably then a Winota deck, right? The Jeskai Mutate combo. I could see that being the case as well. Or it could just be a brew. Who knows? Hey, Rain. Thank you very much for everything you do around here, your continued support, and congratulations on your new kitten. That's awesome. Okay, so the question here is, do I want to try to squeeze maximum value out of these Bone Crusher Giants, or do I want to just play some creatures so that I can get Embercleave going? Could definitely see an argument for both, but I think I'm just going to play some creatures. So chat seems to believe my opponent is going to transmogrify their token and maybe hit Velomachus Lorehold or something. Is that how it works? So killing the creature in response to Luca's ability fizzles the ability. And now hopefully I can either kill Luca or at least unload a bunch of damage against my opponent. I guess I need to just try to kill Luca, right? Think this is where I want to be. I guess technically just dealing 2 damage to Luca would have been enough for my purposes, but I think this works out well, and I get 4 damage against my opponent for maybe setting up lethal soon after. All right, here we go. Shields are down. Well, that was a bad turn to draw a land, huh? I guess I'm just passing. So be it. Noah, thanks for subscribing. What? There's multiple different creatures in the mix here. All right. Well, I was 1 damage short of winning that game. I wonder if I could have found 1 additional damage somewhere. Guess I'll try this. Just maximum aggression. Rich is asking about my content related to modern Red Prowess. I recorded a couple of Red Prowess leagues as videos, but the Blue Red Prowess one, I think you would just have to browse my saved videos on my stream. I don't think that one is formally a YouTube video. Blazing Volley is a sorcery, so I'm less interested in it. I think instant speed removal can be cool to kind of fizzle the Luca stuff. I mean, I wonder if I even want like a red cap melee as just an emergency way to kill a creature at instant speed. But I think I'm just good. I think my plan A game plan just works well enough. Yeah, last game when I killed Luca with Embercleave, I attacked Luca with 2 creatures and Bone Crusher Giant at player. And it was great that I was able to find 4 extra damage there by getting the Bone Crusher unblocked, but maybe I could have taken it even a step further and attacked one of the one creatures at the player. Okay, here's one of the just bread and butter draws. Turn 3 Chariot on the play. Pretty hard to hang with, although if my opponent assembles their combo, it could still work out for them. Okay, interesting. Did I have a possible lethal last game? No, there was no individual turn where I could have attacked my opponent for lethal damage, but I could have gotten them to 1. So the question is, like, could I have found 1 more damage on a previous turn? Oh, no. A cool move you can do is overcrewing the Chariot if you just want to get 1 additional treasure. Now Chariot's going to copy a treasure, so I have all the mana in the universe. Let's just find something to do with it. Codename asks, is it too risky to cut a land from this deck because you have Sentinel and Magda? I think 25 lands is the right number. So I can use Magda's ultimate ability here, which could find me an Embercleave, or it could just find me another Chariot or a Goldspan Dragon next turn. Embercleave would have me dealing 6 damage. All right, let's do that. Now I think we can get him with Song Mad Treachery. Yep. Whew, that was fun. Had to pull out all the stops to find that win. All right, changes, any changes? Okay. If my creatures survive, this can be an impressive draw. Turn 1 Sentinel, turn 2 Magda. Great question from Unfeeling One. Why do you play Hall of Oracles when you have so few spells in your deck? That's because Hall of Oracles is enabled by using the adventure side of a card. So that means Heart's Desire, Boulder Rush, Stomp, that all counts. I'm gonna have a lot of mana this turn. I can use Magda next turn. I did board out my Great Henge. Let's see. Is there anything to like, I stomp my dragon, then I use Magda, then I get another dragon. We're still not getting close to lethal though, right? I think I can deal 16 damage to my opponent. Ember Cleave's legendary, so no point in getting 2 cleaves. Passing with double stomp could be good against some of the things my opponent might be up to. Do I want to play double Gargaroth? I mean, my opponent doesn't seem to have Doomscar or Shatter the Sky. Don't mind me, just 2 Elder Gargaroths over here. Yeah, was that really turn 4? I have 14 mana to spend on turn 4. Options of using Magda's ultimate ability. I mean, this is what you want. This is the draw you want with this deck. All right. I guess I'll just draw 2 cards as a hedge against a possible Wrath. Creatures you control get +1/+1/+0 and indestructible. And then 3 damage to my dragon. So it looks like they're going to combine this with a Crush the Weak is the plan. Sure. Well, I could Embercleave the Sentinel or the existing Gargaroth. I'd probably save mana by doing it now, right? Just cleave the existing Gargaroth. Oh, no! I timed out. So I just wasted a treasure. That stinks. Man, I'm so close. If I had stomped last turn, I'd have lethal, because I can make this 18 damage and then have stomp still in hand. I think I want to pass with double stomp, though, just to be safe. Man, I really messed up timing out last turn to not use my mana effectively. Okay, let's not overthink this too much. There's probably some combination of cards that kills me here, but if they don't kill me, then, you know, they're done for. Yeah, so what happened there was I took a little bit of time to think about what I wanted to do and talk through my decisions. And then I started sacrificing treasures with the intent to just flash in Embercleave for 6 mana. But in the middle of it, I timed out. So I didn't get to Embercleave, I didn't get to Stomp, and I lost one of my treasures. So it was kind of a disaster. And... okay, they hit the wrong one. That's the cost of having 2 different creatures in your deck, is you don't get the right one in the situation you need it. I mean, access to 4 mana here. Interesting. Wow, that was a nail biter, definitely closer than it needed to be. Okay, I'm going to take a short break. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to try to address some of the questions and comments from the chat, and then I'm going to get into another match. Let me try to do roughly 5 minutes of Q&A both between rounds. Starting with... I missed the question somewhere up here. Okay, Zero Coin says, during your league play match, feature match against Ken Yukihiro, what happened with Embercleave against the Valkmira, the Protector's Shield? Okay, so what happened was Ken was at a low life total, and I had gone wide with a bunch of tokens, so he played the backside of Redain. It's called like Valkmira Protector's Shield, something like that. And it prevents 1 damage from every source to you and your permanents. So on my turn, he's got like a 4/4 and a 2/3. And I had a 4/4 double strike creature with Embercleave. So I like process the situation. I'm like, okay, I'm going to attack and I'm going to trade with one of his creatures of my choice, not both, because of the Protector's Shield. So I kind of like, I understand what the shield does, and I process the situation properly. I attacked, Ken double blocked. I ordered the creature that I wanted to kill first, but then I just didn't manually assign damage, and the arena like auto suggest thing assigned exactly four damage to both creatures, and I just clicked OK really quickly, and that resulted in neither creature dying because 1 damage was prevented to each creature. So it was like definitely a mistake on my part, but it wasn't that I didn't know what the shield did. It was just like I didn't execute properly. I didn't do it manually when I should have done it manually. You know what I mean? I was pretty far ahead in that game, and I went on to win anyway, but that's, like, of course, just a huge disaster to not kill your opponent's creatures when you can. Hermit likes Primal Fight in this deck. What do I think about the organized play announcement? I mean, it stinks. The biggest disappointment was that they didn't commit to replacing with the leagues with anything. Like, I don't really care about the leagues going away. I think there were a lot of flaws with that system, but it just, it stinks that they're not committing to anything for the future. Hermit suggests maybe I should have boarded in Masked Vandal. I could see that. Killed a 0/4 wall, or like an Elspeth Conquers Death. Digital Dead, thank you very much for your continued support. Is Legacy still my favorite format? Yeah, I would say Legacy is probably my favorite constructed format. Does Masked Vandal consistently have graveyard fuel when you want it? Depends on the matchup. It's really good in Adventure Mirrors because you can kill Embercleave, Great Henge, a Crow in War, a Sika's Chariot, and your creatures are just always dying in those matchups, either trading in combat or getting stomped, whatever it might be. The places where you can sometimes get into trouble is against like mono white or cycling, when they either don't have much removal or the removal exiles. I have had situations where Masked Vandal can't destroy something that I want to destroy like early in the game in those matchups. But in general, I think Masked Vandal is quite good. Yeah, thanks to those who have congratulated me on the league weekend. I went 8 wins and 4 losses, which of course is a really good result at that level of competition. I'm happy with it. But funny enough, I actually lost standing. I went from fourth, like tied for fourth, or I guess I'm still tied for fourth, but I went from basically fourth to fifth because Seth Manfield did even better. He was my closest competitor, and he went 10-2. So it's kind of brutal to go 8-4 and still lose ground. But it's shaping up like there's going to be 2 more slots directly into the World Championships, and it's going to be divided, I guess I shouldn't say this, but it's looking like it's most likely to be divided between Seth, Yellow Hat, and me, unless somebody goes on like a crazy run from, there's still like Javier and Mengu and a lot of the players that if they like made top 8 of the Strixhaven Championship and then had a good run in the final league weekend, they could still do it. But pretty much with Seth, me, and Yellow Hat, there's going to be 2 slots, and 1 or more of us is going to be really disappointed at the end. But, it's just good to be in the conversation this late in the season. Yep, Masked Vandal is also a dwarf. That definitely comes up. Bazaar is liking DPS in Vintage. Very nice. Glad you found it helpful. Why is there no Toski? Good question. Toski could be good in this deck, but the competition is stiff between Esika's Chariot, Questing Beast, Goldspan Dragon, Elder Gargaroth, Vivian, Embercleave, Great Henge. Those are just all really, really good cards to like top your curve, and you kind of have to pick and choose. So Toski would be good, but I think the other options are good too. Toski is definitely not better than Chariot, but I played 4 Chariots in the league weekend, and you know, maybe it's possible you could play 3 Chariots and 1 Toski, something like that. All right, let's get to another match. Ugin, the Spirit Dragon. Fearsome opponent. Bottom. Okay. All right, a little bit of a comedy of errors there. I think my opponent was intending to kill probably the Edgewall Innkeeper with Swift End, but they just misclicked, cast the Murderous Rider as a 2/3, and decided they didn't want to play anymore. Presumably Vivian and Klothys are going to be strong in this matchup. Sometimes Ox is good against the removal heavy decks, maybe Roiling Vortex, Cutting Primal Might. One Sentinel, 2 Cleaves. Let's try that. One of my earliest memories of playing Magic Online is I drafted a card called Flame Blast Dragon from Shards of Alara. And this was a 5/5 flying. And when it attacks, it has a triggered ability that you can basically fireball. So it's like when this creature attacks, you can pay red and X to deal that much damage to any target. And I just could not figure out how to navigate that like triggered ability on Magic Online of like doing an effect in the middle of combat with a triggered ability and choosing targets and adding my mana or whatever. And I just got confused and added like 10 mana to my mana pool and then mana burned. Like I didn't use the ability and just mana burned for 10 and lost. This is mana burn's like an old thing from those days, but it's basically like limited game where I have a 5/5 dragon attacking uncontested. I'm about to fireball my opponent for like all my mana, and instead I just lost the game. So you know, those things can happen. They can happen on Magic Online. They can happen on Arena. There's even like kind of equivalents that can happen in Paper Magic. So it's just something that we deal with. Should I be casting these Innkeepers? Probably, right? All right, well, I don't have any adventure creatures in my hand prior to drawing that Bone Crusher Giant, so if that eliminates targeting an Edgewall Innkeeper instead of a Magda, I guess that's a minor victory. Did I ever play Chandalar? I did. I didn't own it myself, but my buddy had it, and we would play on his computer. Why was Mana Burn removed? Well, just because it's like really excessively complicated and hard for a new player to understand, and mostly creates bad feelings in weird corner case scenarios. Like, I think just general game design concept is like, if you can make things simpler without losing any value, it's a good idea to do so. And since Mana Burn mostly only came up in like fringe cases, I think it was fine. Probably just want to play Klothys. I think that card's like super effective in this matchup, and kind of likely my opponent is playing a Shadow's Verdict next turn anyway. Hey, Dementia, thank you very much for the sub and that compliment. Happy to have you here. Scry bottom. Okay, is there any way I can get up to requisite devotion here? I have 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I don't think so. All right, well, let's just put them on, Shadow's Verdict or Bust. Blood on the Snow, something like that. What do I think of the Tainted Pack Thassa's Oracle deck? I think it's excellent. I think it's probably the best deck in Historic. I usually don't weigh in on the banning stuff unless it's like really extreme. I could go either way on the Oracle deck being banned or sticking around. It's definitely a really good deck. There's no argument there. Ooh, hello. Huh. Probably just going to be in trouble if my opponent has Mountain Embercleave here. Yeah, this is not looking great. The chances of them having Embercleave are higher based on like not making any play on turn 3. They probably just have a pretty heavy type of hand. This is not that bad, actually. Okay. To block with the Chariot or to block with my 2 cats? All right. I don't think I need to. I think I'm just going to try to stockpile treasures, and then I can either work towards a Magda ultimate or like a big Shatter Skull smashing. So. Yep. So make dragon, 2 treasures to play chariot, use the cats to crew the existing chariot, attack with everything. That makes me 3 treasures up to 4. I copy a treasure. Then I have 5 to either do Goldspan Dragon, or sorry, to either do Magda or Shatter Skull smashing. Alternatively, yeah, okay. I think I like that. Hello, Yellow Hat. Welcome to all Yellow Hat people. You're coming in at a nice moment here. I'm trying to use all of the techniques I've learned about this deck to assemble some kind of lethal attack here. I'm about to attack, make 4 more treasures, then I can get Embercleave at instant speed. I also maybe could have taken a line where I get like Great Henge, but is this a guaranteed lethal? No, but it's lethal unless my opponent blocks in a very particular way. I think they have Boulder Rush. That's my prediction. But also, Esika's Chariot just gives you priority all the time, so it's not for sure that they have any instant, but they could very well have Boulder Rush. If they had Stomp, I feel like they probably would have used it already. And then I like this play because if anything goes wrong in combat, that was definitely not how I expected things to go. My opponent just didn't block at all. I guess they were timed out or something. But anyway, what I was going to say is I like that play because the fail case, if something goes wrong, is I can just do a Shatter Skull smashing. Moving on. Cap writes, I'm a newish player, so sorry if this is a dumb question. How do you determine 20 lands is appropriate for this deck? Definitely not a dumb question. Mana bases are really complicated to understand. But one thing that you should notice is that in addition to 20 lands, I have 5 double-faced cards that count as lands. So 4 Shatterskull Smashing and 1 Song Mad Treachery. So in a way, I would count it as kind of 25 lands. It's a nice mana base. We'll take a look at it right now because this deck is really mana hungry. You know, I have all the Chariots and Dragons and Embercleaves that can use a lot of mana. But I don't actually have that many lands because a lot of my mana comes from Jaspera Sentinel and Treasures, and then Shatterskull Smashing is a card that I play it as a land if it's in my opening hand and I need mana, but later on in the game, if I draw it, that's like a really powerful spell that can help me not flood out in the late game. So building with these double-faced land spells helps you effectively get more mana sources so you don't get mana screwed as much, but also gives you like more action so that you don't get flooded. Good question. Song Mad Treachery. Well, I did win a game with Song Mad Treachery on stream today. It comes up more than you think. It's pretty good, and particularly builds in some resilience against Elder Gargaroth, which is important for this deck. No, that's not the winner. I don't think that's the winner either. Okay, so I'm definitely keeping Smashing, Forest, 1 Magda, and then bottoming 2 between Forest, Magda, Rimrock Knight. I think Bonecrusher Giant's too good. Although this is a Yorion deck. And against a Yorion deck, Bonecrusher's a lot weaker. So... Huh. I think I'm definitely going to keep Rimrock Knight. So got a bottom 2 between Bonecrusher, second Magda, and Forest. Get a little greedy here. Why don't all decks play 4 Shatterskull Smashings? Well, if your deck has a lot of red mana, it's a good idea to consider Shatterskull Smashing. Mono red sometimes doesn't play a lot because they have the requirements of the snow lands. Goody Phil says, should you count the double-faced lands in deck construction? I usually do count them as lands, but I also play a couple more lands in my deck if I have a lot of double-faced land spells. So there's not an exact formula, but it's just whatever way is useful for you to organize your thoughts. No black mana, super interesting here. I think it's good to play the Sentinel. Well, now I'm hurting a little bit. I mean, mulliganing to 5 and then my opponent having a removal heavy draw puts you in a tough spot. Maybe I can just barely steal this with the dragon. Okay, 4 is a pretty crucial life total, although we probably have the epiphanies and ultimatums starting to flow this turn. Probably just have to put away Alrund's Epiphany. Give them whatever other 2 cards they want. Though if they search for a Gargaroth, that's a problem for me. Okay, well if they... Let's see, if they just ultimate Professor Onyx outright, then I'll die to the Vorinclex attack. So that's actually a good pile. Put away the Vorinclex then. The Magecraft lets you gain life. I guess I should have given the Vorinclex and put away the Professor Onyx. Come on. Best chance of winning here is probably just to do nothing. Good hand. A little something for everybody here. Sure. They always have it, don't they? Definitely looks like they're setting up ultimatum mana. Not really sure what I should do. Rumor Gaming MTG, thank you very much for the sub and the message. Okay, that's not that bad. I'm defeated. Arrowhead writes, if you'd made a 3-1 intervention and then crewed with that and the Sentinel, couldn't you copy the 3-1 and keep it after the turn? That is a legal play that I could make, but what's the advantage? Like, why would I rather have a 3-1 than a 4-3? Oh yes, rules wise, yeah. If you copy the Perforos' intervention token, the copied token will stick around. That I haven't had that come up, but it's something that could conceivably be interesting. If I didn't give them the Epiphany, did I have outs into land double dragon? I don't think so, because what would happen is they would lock down my permanents with the Sea God. Then even if I drew a land, I play dragon, I attack them. But then they play Yorion, they blink Sea God, so all my stuff is locked down, and they have the 4/5 flying blocker. So I think I was basically guaranteed to lose regardless. Oh, would the Sea God go away before they would Yorion it? Yes, that's actually true. So I was confused, but if they get chapter 3, they would just, I think, kill me with the dragon. That card is not easy for me to beat in game 1. Yeah, I definitely admit that Lovestruck Beast into Great Henge is a weakness for me in game number one before I can bring in the Masked Vandals. Magic Hobo, thank you so much for your continued support. Can you play 0/0 Serpent with Henge? Yes. You will draw a card, but the Serpent will die before it gets the +1/+1 counter. So you can't really use anything besides a 1/1 token to enable a Lovestruck Beast attack when you have Great Henge. Risky, but this is a matchup where my Jaspera Sentinel is not likely to die, and the payoff's really high if I do hit a land. I'm gonna try it. Tiny bit late to the party, but we'll take it. Question in the chat about Edgewall Innkeeper. This draws you a card when you cast a creature, the creature side of the adventure. Doesn't have anything to do with playing the adventure side, the spell side. All right. Now we can get out of the gates. I think I just want to play the Lovestruck Beast and save a treasure. Okay. This could work out. All right, just this one time I'll take the damage. It's what I was hoping would happen. Yeah, I think you're right that I could have played both Dragon and Henge, and it may very well have been the best play, but it would not have allowed me to keep up Double Stomp. Hmm. Yeah, definitely the Great Henge has been the key card of this match so far. It's not too bad. Yeah, I could have attacked with the Bone Crusher Giant, that's true. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of choices that I can make every turn. You all are pointing out good suggestions, but at this when you get to that point, you start to think about like what's your game plan and what's the way that you can lose the game. And just like playing more ground creatures didn't really seem like it was going to change the outcome of the game. Whereas maybe keep saving the treasures for a later turn or keeping up stomp or defending myself against something unexpected could be more valuable. Is Blazing Volley somehow a good card in this matchup? Probably not. It would have weirdly been good that game, but I don't think it's a card that I actually want. Well, it's like a dream hand if I had read. It's not even a dream a hand with green mana. I'm just gonna throw it back. This is definitely weaker than the hand I had last game, but I am on the draw. Um, Probably keep and ship the second innkeeper. I do only have 8 adventure creatures in my deck post board and none in my hand. Okay, good start. I mean, if I can just curve smoothly into like turn 4, 5-drop creature, that's what I want. If you put a Gem Razor on top of a Stonecoil Serpent, is it still an artifact? I don't know. Whatever. I'm just gonna kill both creatures. Ooh. Interesting development. All right, both players kind of stuck here. Let's see who can draw their land first. Not exactly a land, but I will definitely take it. And remember that Masked Vandal is a dwarf. This is huge. 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually could Embercleave. Is that necessary? Would I rather have an Embercleave or 2 treasures? I think I would rather have 2 treasures. One, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Wait, no, I must have miscounted that Embercleave, right? Because I could only make 4 mana. Can get them down to 1. It's weird, like the first 2 games were just super explosive in one direction or the other, and then the third game was Super awkward. Whoever drew out of their mana screw first. All right, so I'm going to play actually a sixth match with this deck. I promised 5 for the video, but we had a couple games where my opponents conceded early, so I'll do 1/6 match.
Need a way to re-spark the excitement in your TCG collection? Box breaks are the way to get your hands on cards from the games you love. Learn more today at cfbboxbreaks.com or check out CFB Box Breaks on YouTube.
So turn 1 Sentinel, then turn 2 1-drop, 1-drop. I mean, this hand is like functional, plus becomes quite good if I draw a land. Shall we try it? So turn 1 Sentinel, then turn 2 1-drop, 1-drop, then turn 3. If I haven't hit a land, I can go Rimrock Knight Stomp. If I don't draw a land and my opponent has a board sweeper, it looks really bad, but I think against unknown opponent on the play, this has enough chance of working out. Let's try it. Let's learn something. Yeah, unless there's a board sweeper, I agree. This can work out. Hey, Skip, thank you for your continued support. I'm happy to have you here. Okay, well, we're really putting this to the test of if I can have a functional draw with only 1 land. Do we have Flood versus Screw here? Am I actually going to steal this one? Maybe this was bad because one of the few cards that could make sense for them is Jwari Disruption. All right. Yeah, I mean, they basically had to have Counterspell and then draw a board sweeper. That's the way they stay in the game. All right, that's a much better, cleaner hand. I'm happy with this one. Leggings asks, assuming rotation happened now and no new sets came out, what do you think the most relevant rare or mythic from Strixhaven would be? Yeah, I did at this when the set was first released, I did like a ranking of impactful cards that I thought would be a good idea to spend your wild cards on. And I did have Elite Spellbinder as the #1 rare. One deck that comes to mind that would probably survive rotation is that new Izzet Dragons deck. So maybe having like Goldspan Dragon from Kaldheim and Galazeth Prismari and Expressive Iteration. Maybe that's a good spot to be. Yeah, that article's on CFB. All right. Think I'll just pass. No Spoon, thank you for the sub. Chariot or Innkeeper Giant? Let's go Innkeeper Giant. Well, I know I can basically play a powerful spell every turn for the rest of the game. That's a good spot to be in. I think I like Vivian. Should give them a pretty hard time. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. Okay. All right, sweet.